We will continue with the book of sickness, regulations and exhortations, and inshallah ta'ala today is what is the definition of a sick person? Who will be considered a sick person? Sickness is opposite to health. It means that a part of the human body is functioning imperfectly. A person is considered sick when his condition departs from the norm of wellness. Sickness, or definition of a sick person. There are four kinds of sick people. Or there are four kinds of people in general. There's the healthy, which means, inshallah, like all of us, he's a person that everything is functioning normally. Then there is the disabled. A disabled person, this applies to a person who has a lasting deficiency in one or more parts of his body. A disabled person usually becomes accustomed to his conditions, and his disability becomes to him and other people more of a hindrance than a form of sickness, subhanallah. A mildly sick person, somebody who had a headache, somebody who had maybe a little flu, this is called the mildly sick person. Then the fourth person is that person is genuinely sick. He's really sick. What does that mean? This applies to a person whose sickness restricts him, usually or temporary, from being normal, from pursuing his normal activities. Some Muslim scholars have defined a sick person, subhanallah, the one that you will get the ajr of visiting. We, inshallah ta'ala, soon we will be discussing what is the reward of visiting the sick. Some of the scholars defined a person to be sick as the one who is allowed to cut short his salat and break his fast in Ramadan. This is considered a sick person. This is what they consider sick. Some scholars considered a sick person a person who is cutting short his salat. It reached the sickness to that level that he cut his salat short, or he is allowed to break his fast. This is considered a sick person. Now, what are some very important fiqh issues about the sick? First, subhanallah, out of the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal, accountability in our deen, accountability depends on ability. Accountability depends on ability. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. There's no way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would order us to do something that we cannot handle in that situation, and then punishes me if I do not do it. And He knows, the Alim, He knows subhanahu that I cannot do it. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah intends for you ease, and He does not intend for you hardship. To the same meaning, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إن هذا الدين يسر. Indeed, this religion is ease. Whoever overburdens himself in this deen will surely be overpowered by the deen. So act correctly and moderately. Act correctly and moderately, and give glad news and make it easy. بشروا ويسروا. بشروا ويسروا. Unfortunately, many people take this hadith, بشروا ولا تنفروا يسروا ولا تعسروا. Make things easy, do not make things hard. Give glad tidings and do not make people pessimistic. They take these hadith in the wrong context. Rasulullah ﷺ said here, make things easy. That does not mean if someone does not pray, you tell him it's okay. Unfortunately, if somebody does not pray and you tell him, Ya akhi, salat is a fard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed those 5 daily prayers. He tells you, Ya akhi, deen yusr. Deen is ease. Make it easy for us. Don't push too much. This is extreme. Or if you tell them you cannot combine all the salawat at night, all 5 together. He tells you, Ya akhi, our deen is yusr. So this is a qawl haqq. This is a true statement that was used in the wrong context. It is, our deen is absolutely yusr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given us so many ways to worship Him, and so many things He made it easy for us to perform, subhanahu. But we cannot use the deen according to our whims and desires. Absolutely, the deen is easy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, من يشاد يعني من يغالب هذا الدين يغلبه. Follow a moderate path. Whoever acts excessively in this deen, the deen will definitely defeat him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Have taqwa of Allah to the best of your ability. Okay? And again, Allah is alim. He knows how much is your ability, and He knows that my ability is different than yours is different than his is different than hers. Everybody has a certain level that he can put extra effort according to his ability. Sometimes maybe somebody cannot work. I know a brother, he said, brother, please do not text me anymore about the 3 white days. I said, why, ya habibi? He said, wallahi, every time I get this message, it hurt me, because I know the reward and I cannot do it. It's really siyam. If it wasn't for Ramadan, I will never fast. It really kills me, fasting. So this person, he really hurts in fasting, right? So, subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. But if somebody, especially I keep reminding you of these days, subhanallah, today was the end of the 3 white days, tomorrow's Eid, inshallah. A nice cup of coffee in the morning. So, subhanallah, so whatever you can, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. This is the beauty of this deen. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. And this istata'tum is variable between one person, varies between one person and the other. And this is one of my favorite ahadith, subhanallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, فَإِذَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ فَأْتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ وَمَا نَهَيْتُكُمْ عَنْ شَيْءٍ فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ. Very beautiful hadith. Just like the ayah Sheikh Sajjad, may Allah protect him, he just recited in the Isha. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever the Prophet told you, gave you, take it, and whatever told you to stay away from, stay away from. Here, this hadith, it went a little bit more in details. Look at this. مَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ فَأْتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Whatever I ordered you to do whatever you can, as much as you can handle. But when it came to the forbidding, He did not say, if I forbid you about something, stay away from it as much as you can. No. وَإِذَا نَهَيْتُكُمْ عَنْ شَيْءٍ فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ. Completely stay away from it. The other one, as much as you can from the good, do. But when it comes to the haram, stay away from it completely. Subhanallah. So this is the beauty of Islam. So the first important fiqh issue in our deen, which is extremely important. Why? Because it varies. I cannot tell somebody, you have to do this, and turned out that the guy doesn't want to tell everybody on earth that he has a disease, that he cannot fast or he cannot do this. So it's extremely important to know what are the fiqh rules, that they vary from one person to another. So if a person is sick and he cannot do something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward him according to his ability. So the first important rule is accountability depends on ability. Second rule is sanity is a condition for accountability. Sanity is a condition for accountability. Majnoon, if a person is insane, he's not accountable. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, رُفِعَ الْقَلَمْ عَنْ ثلاث, right? the pen, yani accountability, is held off 3 individuals. The sleeping person until he wakes up. Who's the second? The person till he becomes adult, and the majnoon until he becomes sane. Those are not accountable. These are not accountable. Shuf, subhanallah. I remember one of our shuyukh, he mentioned, subhanallah, he took this and he did a formula. He said, if you do this, if you take this hadith and you do the formula, and he said if the average person, he lives 60, let's say the age of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 63 years. He said 15 years is the average age of puberty, right? Hitting puberty. So that's 15 years gone. 63 minus 15. Let's do 60 so we'll make it easy for the calculation. 60 minus 15, 45, right? He said 8 hours of sleep a day on 60 years will make 20 years. Sleeping. So 20 out of 45, so we have 25 years left. Working and eating and restroom and all that stuff, he calculated as 5 years. So he said for 20 years you would lose Jannah forever. For 20 years, just work of 20 years or maybe less, because Allahu A'lam how much we're going to live. Sah? You know, subhanallah, if you look at this crowd, and I'm looking at all of you, and approximately in 60 years, none of us will be here. Approximately, right? Sah, or somebody else was 110, 120. In 60 years, 50, 60, maybe some of us 70, Yani Allahu A'lam, but definitely more, maybe less, definitely, but maximum, none of us will be here, subhanallah. So, compare that to Jannah, arduha as-samawat wal-ard, forever, subhanallah. So it's a really win-win situation, very, very smart decision. So sanity is not a condition for accountability. Third, willingness. Okay, sanity is not a condition for accountability, but willingness is a condition for accountability. Willingness is a condition for accountability. What does that mean? What does that mean? Rasulullah ﷺ said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ تَجَاوَزَ عَنْ أُمَّتِي الْخَطَأ وَالنِّسْيَانِ وَمَا اسْتُكْرِهُ عَلَيْهِ. Indeed, Allah overlooks for my ummah error, forgetting, and this is where the dalil, and whatever they are compelled, forced to do. Yani if somebody forced me, like the man who came to Rasulullah ﷺ and he said, Ya Rasulullah, they forced me to curse you. Otherwise they were going to kill me. What did he tell him? Sheikh Shah, what did he tell him? He said, if your iman is in your heart is very strong and they do it again, curse me again. Because his iman, he's doing it out of being forced. So he's not accountable. It will not be recorded, oh, he cursed Rasulullah ﷺ, or he did this, because his life was on the line. Now, of course, don't take this, this varies from one person to another. This level, because we know some Sahaba, they did not really care. Uhud, right? Ahad, Uhud. Where we get Uhud from? Ahad, Bilal. Subhanallah. He kept on, he did not care. He did not say, I'm being punished now. No. So it varies from one Sahabi to another. It varies from, depends on the strength of Iman. Deficiency does not totally abrogate accountability. Deficiency does not totally abrogate accountability. What does that mean? An accountable person should perform the obligation as much as he can. This is where we see this all the time, and I mentioned it many times. We go to the hospital to visit a person, and we ask him, how are you, brother? First we check up on him, make dua and everything. And then when you ask him for salat, he tells you, Ya akhi, may you see where I am right now? Yeah, what salat are you talking about? No, salat does not drop if you are in the hospital. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Salli qa'iman, fa in lam tastati' فقاعدا فإن لم تستطع فعلى جنب. Rasulullah said, pray standing. If you cannot, pray sitting. If you cannot pray sitting, pray on your side. But to skip the prayer completely for no reason, just because I'm in the hospital. Now, of course, there are different levels. Somebody is going in and out of coma. I'm not talking about extreme. I'm talking about somebody who went to the hospital to do some tests, and they told him you're going to stay 2 days. So he's just sitting there. No, if he can stand up, Bismillah. If he cannot stand up, he can do it while he's sitting down. If he cannot get up to the bathroom, make wudu, they can try to make wudu for him as he's sitting. If he cannot touch the water completely, it's not allowed. He could do tayammum, but not skip the salat like this. There's no daleel that you can skip the salat because you are sick, except in certain extreme situations. So deficiency does not totally, the word totally here, abrogate accountability. If you can, Bismillah. If you can't, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given us many ways to make up these ibadat. Now this is extremely important. The last one is each person is a witness over himself. You could tell me I can't, right? You could tell me, ya Shaykh, ya this, ya that. You could tell me whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. What does it matter? I can't get up. I can't do this. Allah. This is here the formula. Subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did he say? بَلِ الْإِنسَانِ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, rather the human being is a witness over himself. He's a witness over himself. I know what I can handle. I know what I can handle and what I cannot handle. I know that I can pray now. I can fast. I know. Maybe sometimes the doctor give me an excuse. Say, you know what, you have to take these pills in the morning. But then I figured, you know what, morning is at 6 o'clock. I can have the Fajr. Fajr is at 6 o'clock. I can still have them at suhoor, before suhoor. So, I know when I'm able to perform the ibadah or not. I'm the most person who knows. I can lie to you, you can lie to me, but subhanallah, where are we going to go from Allah Azza wa Jal? بَلِ الْإِنسَانُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا. So, the Shaykh gave an example. Let us assume that a sick person's physician's family and visitors tell him that his condition is not so serious as sitting down during the prayer. So, if to the contrary, he feels very weak and believes that standing will harm him, he should sit. So if a person thinks that standing up will harm him, maybe 2 weeks ago, I sat down, I spoke to my brothers after Dhuhr, the ones who pray on the chair. I sat down with them and I explained to them the fiqh of praying on the chair. Ya akhwan, praying on the chair is permitted. Okay? When we see some people that, mashallah, he's very healthy. He's walking all the way to the masjid. He's walking inside and everything, and you could tell that he is healthy. And he immediately comes and sits down on the chair and says, Allahu Akbar. And I'm sure he's doing it, not on purpose, because that's what he was taught. But the minute you can stand up, if you can stand up, then praying sitting is not accepted. So what do? If I can walk, I will stand up next to the chair. I will stand up next to the chair, and then Allahu Akbar, and whatever position I cannot perform, I sit down. If I can make ruku', I have to make ruku'. But I cannot make sujood. So when it comes to sujood, I sit down. I cannot make ruku', but I can make sujood. So I stand up. When it comes to ruku', I sit down. When it comes to sujood, I go down. Because these are arkan, okay? So if I can stand up, then I have to stand up. Whatever portion of the salat I can do normally, I have to do it normally. Whatever part of the salat I cannot do, I have to sit down, Bismillah, go ahead. You know which part you can do and which part you cannot do. Subhanallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this permission of praying on the chair to use it when needed. This is a very common mistake, ya akhwan. Very common mistake. You see a brother, mashallah, is very healthy. Maybe he cannot make ruku' because of his back, but he can stand up. So he immediately comes and sit down, and he makes the takbirat al-ihram sitting down, even though the qiyam is a rukun Qiyam in the salat is a rukun of the salat. And missing a rukun, like you missed the Fatiha, missed the ruku', missed sujood, the salat is gone. It's not like missing a sunnah. Missing a rukun is major. So the point is, everybody knows what he or she can handle. I can handle this, Bismillah. You cannot handle it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the permission to do this or that, or take the valid license not to do this or not to do that. Okay? Any questions?
How about nafil salah?
What is it?
How about nafil salah?
Nafil salat? Okay. The brother's asking, what about nafil salat? It's all the same. If he can stand up, stand up. But nafil salat, praying on the chair, praying sitting is okay. But you get half the reward. In the nafil salat, praying sitting is okay already, but you get half the reward. But fard salat, no sitting down unless you have a valid excuse. Inshallah. So next week's chapter is trials for the believers. Of course, we're talking about sicknesses, how a sickness could be a trial, a test to the believer, and how should we handle that, inshallah. If Allah kept us alive till next week, inshallah, we will discuss that. Jazakumullah khair, barakallah fikum, subhanakallahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.